Talk about it with Franjez. Today's special guest is the nephew of the number one rated welterweight in the world in the 1940s, Tough Tony Pellone. He's a boxing coach, a mentor, and leader of Tough Tony team, developing and promoting female fighters. Today's guest is Neil Pellone. Neil, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I really appreciate the platform.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Looking forward to doing this.
Perfect. How do you feel about the intro? I feel like it was too much to cover to put in that intro.
No, it's actually perfect. I'm not a boxing coach. It's more of like a promotional thing.
Okay.
And a mentorship down the road.
Okay.
And trying to get a little focus on female fighters.
Perfect. We're going to get all into it.
Gotcha.
But let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
All right. And what was your childhood like? What was life like as a kid? What were you into?
Life was good. I was into all different sports. You know, had a good family background. My father's family. You mentioned Tough Tony Pellone. He was a number one ranked welterweight. A little before my time, but my father had the scrapbook at home, and I had a big family with a lot of cousins. So it was a good childhood.
So when you were a kid, what was it like looking up to Tony? He already retired by then when you were a child?
He retired by then, and
Okay.
I used to be in awe when he would come around.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any amazing stories when you were a kid that you remember?
Not really. Like I said, I just remember being in awe when he would come around, and it's another thing I'm working on with this team. Like a lot of fighters, back then they called them punchy. Now there's a focus on it called CTE, a little damage to the brain and whatnot.
Yeah.
My uncle started fighting when he was 15 years old as a professional. He had over 109 fights in 9 years. So it's an interesting thing. His real name is Jerry Pallone, Ciro in Italian.
Oh, I don't know. It was Jerry.
Yes, and he took his older brother's name, which was Anthony. He was off fighting in World War II, and he needed to be of age to fight, so he became Tony Pellone.
So illegally fighting at age 15.
Correct, and he was fighting men.
He was fighting 18 and over, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
Like he beat a champion he never won a championship. He never fought for a championship, but he fought Bob Montgomery, who was the lightweight champion of the world, and they were in a welterweight fight, and he beat him when he was 16 and Bob was in his 20s, you know.
Yeah, I read he was beating champions, but before they became champions.
Correct. Never had a championship fight.
Yeah.
I learned later on that Sugar Ray Robinson
Yeah.
owned the welterweight title for basically the whole span my uncle was in there. And Sugar Ray didn't fight much in that era. They would have like 1 or 2 championship fights a year.
Okay. Nice. So what were you into? What sports were you into when you were a kid?
Baseball, football. I played I played football throughout my whole life. You know, had a little cup of coffee in college, but you know.
What do you mean you had a cup of coffee?
Played 1 year.
Oh, okay.
And then I was an 18-year-old kid missing my girlfriend at the time and wanted to come home. So
Nice. What else are you into? Movies? And you definitely didn't want to do boxing?
I boxed a little bit when I was younger, but
Okay.
I would box friends of mine that were much heavier. I was a skinny little kid when I was a kid. I was 140, 135, and I used to hang around with a couple of guys who were like 190, 200. Like there was a Golden Gloves champion out of Yonkers named Ike Padilla, and Ike was a friend of mine, and Ike laid the shit out of me one day. So getting hit by bigger guys, you're like, oh, this is tough.
Yeah. So you're in Brooklyn. How do you have friends in Yonkers? How'd that happen?
I wound up coming to Yonkers when I was 16.
16. Okay.
Yeah, so I went to Roosevelt High School.
Nice.
Yeah, played for Coach DiMatteo in Roosevelt High School, who was like a legend in coaching.
Yeah. That name sounds familiar. I went to Gorton, but that name does sound
His
familiar.
brother coached there when I was my age.
Maybe that's why the name sounds familiar.
He was Dom DiMatteo.
There's a name on the scoreboard. I think it is DiMatteo.
That's the brother. Yep.
Wow, that's legendary.
Yeah, they're two legends of the game.
Wow. You know why they're legends? Are they like the first coaches when the schools opened?
They were around forever.
Okay.
And Tony might have the most wins in New York State history. It might have got beaten by then, but he was just a legend.
Wow.
When I played in the early 80s, mid 80s, and he was around since like 1970. And then he won some state championships, and then he went up the line to another town, Somers, and he won a state championship as well.
Nice.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Nice. Oh, good. Thank God. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I never had an aspiration of what I wanted to be, but I made the mistake of making money too young.
Really?
Yeah, you make money and you got away from school and you said, hey, you know what? I like making money instead of going to school.
Nice.
If I had to do it over, I wish I was a lawyer. People tell me that all the time. You like to argue.
Lawyer schedules are good too. Monday through Friday, you're in the AC controlled room, you're in a suit.
Correct.
All the criminals are detained. But so you moved to Yonkers at 16. You go to school. You finish. You graduate high school.
Graduated high school.
Okay, so college is what you didn't want to do.
I started, but then I started making money at the same time. So I got away from college.
Nice. So what were you doing to make money?
I was in the restaurant business, and then doing a little knock around things as well. Yeah,
I like that. That's a boxing term too.
Correct. Goes two ways. Yeah, cuts both ways.
I like that. So what comes next? You're making money. You don't go to college.
Wound up marrying my high school sweetheart, having 2 kids.
Beautiful.
Then making some poor decisions as a husband. And I wound up having another daughter and a third marriage, and I'm happily married now for 11 years, almost 10 years. So it's a good thing.
You know what they say, third time's a charm.
That's it. I have an amazing wife right now.
Perfect. It takes a few failures to
Absolutely. And I needed to grow up, and I grew up.
Makes sense. Yeah, when you're a teenager, high school sweetheart, come on.
Correct. I was married at 21 years old, the father 22 and a half. Yeah, so everything happened young.
I had my daughter when I was 20.
Yeah, so you can relate.
Absolutely. And I'm not with her mother, of course. High school stuff.
Correct.
So I want to get to what builds up to where you are now. So anything in the meantime, in your 20s or 30s that stand out, that have to do with training or promotion or boxing?
Not so much. You know what? What I did get into later on in life, though, I started writing, and I did a couple of plays on off-Broadway and just found the knack at it. And I was pretty talented at it.
Really?
And people used to say, you write like you speak. I had a knack for dialogue. And I'm getting back into it, to be honest with you. So later on, I could promote a couple of things that we're working on. Good friend of mine, this journey's been amazing. You want me to just keep going?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I would love to hear about the writing. Did you ever write in school or when you were a kid?
No, some things just you stumble upon. I'll be honest with you. After going through a divorce, I drank a little bit too much and started writing in blackouts. And I'd wake up the next day and have a script written. And it was like I don't know where it came from and this and that. And I used to think I was like cute. I wouldn't write with any punctuation or capital letters. And then I was very fortunate. I came across a group of very talented actors, and they guided me a little bit into the art world.
Okay.
I'm very fortunate. And one of them's a good friend still, and he's reading a couple of scripts now that I'm back involved in.
Amazing.
He's actually in The Lion King right now. He plays 2 characters in The Lion King.
I saw The Lion King a few years back. It was a while back. I think it was before the pandemic.
It's an amazing show.
Amazing show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what age is this that you start writing?
Probably late 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, mid 30s, early 30s. I start writing. Wanted to, I was working in Manhattan a lot, so Manhattan's got a little more of an artistic vibe.
Absolutely, Broadway. There's all types of shows everywhere.
Correct, and everybody's aspiring to be either a writer, an actor, and so that just came natural. Meeting people like that, and I always watched movies, and I could direct a movie by watching it too. Being
Absolutely.
Impressed by Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, just other people as well.
Absolutely,
David Fincher.
What are your favorite movies?
Fight Club got me through my 30s. That sounds
I've never
crazy.
heard something like that before.
You know what? I have this thing where I have to go to bed with something on, playing in the background. I can't go to sleep with silence.
Okay.
So Fight Club, I used to go to sleep to every night.
That's not good.
And sometimes, but you know what? You would go to sleep and you would break down different monologues in your head. And then another one that I used to go to sleep to a lot was Oliver Stone's The Doors.
I didn't see that one.
And Val Kilmer plays Jim Morrison. Amazing movie. And that inspired me a lot because just different dialogues, and you go, that's beautifully written.
Yeah.
And you try to almost mimic it,
Well, what do you feel like you relate to in in Fight Club?
Fight Club, it's the trying to better yourself.
Okay.
If you look at that was a duality of one man, right?
Yeah.
And he was trying to get better, and I look at myself like I've achieved that. Like there's a lot of negativity I looked at in my life, and I go, I don't like this guy. And I've been able to overcome a lot of those demons.
Good.
So that's an inner battle, though.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, and that's what I relate with Fight Club.
So this whole time you're still in the restaurant business?
Still in the restaurant business, like I said, meeting a lot of people that are in the industry. And I wrote a play. The second play I had written was a play about what I just described, but it was a kidnapping. And it was a kidnapping of a guy who had a crush on a female, kidnaps her, but thinks he's on a date. And then I had three characters. It was the female, a strong man, and a man battling with things. And very talented man was Danny Vitale. Danny Vitale was on Saturday Night Live. And I met him, and he was going to play one of the characters. And then he had a slip up in drinking, so he dropped out. And I was scrambling. I had everything booked, and my friend who's in the Lion King now was like, dude, he says dude a lot, dude, you know what? This is perfectly written as the dynamic of a man battling with things. So I made it into a schizophrenic, almost like Fight Club, and the two characters became one character that would split personalities. And it worked. It really, really worked.
That's awesome. How far did you get it to actually?
I never got it. I got it to did a couple of productions on Off Broadway, and I enjoyed it. So
that's amazing.
No, it was a lot of fun doing it.
You know, I always wanted to do something like that. What are the steps of doing that? You write it, and then what do you do after you write it? You did every step yourself. You rent out the place for a few days.
Yep, I self-promoted. I self-produced. The guy in The Lion King, Michael Hollick, shout out to Michael. Michael helped me direct it, shaped it a little bit in writing. And, we used to have some real fights too. He said, you're being myopic. I go, I can't be myopic. I don't even know what the fucking word means. But, he taught me a lot. Great conversation he had with, like I said, with my writing. I almost wanted to be, who's the writer? Jackson Pollock. You know who Jackson Pollock is? Jackson Pollock's a famous artist that just throws paint on a canvas, and it's beauty. So I was like, I want to write like he paints. I just want to throw words out and not really guide anything. He's like, Jackson Pollock knows how to paint, though. You have to know what you're doing to break the barriers, and that's what he taught me a lot of.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like that. So what was the other play?
Another play was called Banter of the Soul, and it was two characters, just really messed up characters. And that's where I was writing from, was being not happy with myself and drinking a little too much and battling. And so I put a lot into the characters. A friend of mine who was from Bulgaria, he came to see it. He said, my mother would say you walk around too many tall buildings because there was no sunlight in my life. It was too dark in my writing.
That's New York City.
Correct. It's a beautiful line.
It is. Between buildings, you might get a little peak of sun, but besides that.
Correct. But, it was everything I write is dark comedy, though. So it's funny if you have a sense of humor.
That's very interesting that you would wake up to writings. So like when you did, was it like the whole script or like piece by piece? How did it come up?
It was mostly the whole script.
Wow.
And then I would shape it a little bit, but I think sometimes your subconscious can write better than your conscience.
That makes sense because everything we know is in the subconscious.
Correct.
The conscious is what we're thinking about right now. But everything's back there. Everything's just sitting there for us to pick up whenever we need.
Writing, an author that really is Jack Kerouac. Jack Kerouac wrote On the Road. Part of the Beat Generation. And Jack Kerouac hated, what's the word I'm looking for? When you constantly, when you correct yourself.
I don't know.
And censorship, almost censorship and correcting. And he was very big on it. Like whatever came out naturally is what you should keep. That's what it was meant to be. And if you don't mind me going on, I lived with an artist at one time.
I love these stories.
Yeah, he was an amazing artist. He still is.
What type of artist? Painting?
Painting. And he would paint these great canvases. And like I remember he painted one of his girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
And then he started correcting it and censoring it. And then it completely changed. It became Catwoman, basically, at the end of it. And it's like, to me, you lost the initial beauty of that first painting.
Absolutely.
So that's what my writing, I tried to keep, like whatever I vomited it out, I wanted to keep as pure as possible.
Absolutely. I like that. It makes perfect sense. The second play, did it get on Broadway or off Broadway?
I was able to work with, like I said, the talented group of actors that I was in with, and that was off Broadway as well. And then I met with somebody else did one of his plays at the same time. So we were having a lot of fun, just keeping it raw and doing a platform to put stuff up for.
Nice, nice. What's your drink of choice?
Bourbon.
Nice. Neat.
Bourbon neat, yeah.
Okay, nice.
And a very good bourbon on the rocks too. One big rock,
yeah. Yeah, the nice big one. That's the one to do. You still drink?
Very, very, not really. I enjoy a nice scotch or bourbon sometimes with dinner, but I'm not going out getting drunk anymore.
You're in control now.
Correct.
So what comes next? You got the 2 plays. You're still in the restaurant business.
2 plays, still in the restaurant business. I wind up leaving one job in Manhattan and coming up to Yonkers.
Another restaurant job?
Another restaurant job in Yonkers.
Which one?
Gianna's in Yonkers.
That sounds familiar.
It's on North Broadway, an amazing place. Been there 22 years now.
Nice.
And the reason I can say that so quickly because my daughter's 21. And she was a baby when they were just opening. So actually 21 years because she was just a baby when they opened. And a good friend of mine opened it up with them. He was managing it. He says, hey, I'm opening this place. You should come up. And I was like, let me try it. So I come up here. I'm still living in Jersey, right outside Manhattan, in Weehawken.
Okay.
And I'm coming up here every day. And the 2 owners are correction officers. So they're like, they didn't even ask me. One of the customers that was also a correction officer says, hey, you seem like a smart cat. They're offering the test. You should take the test. And I took the test. And I've been doing corrections now for almost 19 years now.
19, my man.
But that was almost it's a blessing and a curse in disguise because great money, great benefits. I wound up becoming the union president, and I've been union involved for past 10 and a half years, actually 14 years counting as a delegate. But as an executive board member, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of selflessness into your membership. So my creativity just shut down. So my creativity shut down, and I just recently have developed it again, and I'm running.
Good.
So just a step back, 2020, coming off the pandemic, my godfather, who's Tough Tony's son, my name is Neil, and there's 6 Neil Pellones. We're all named after my grandfather.
I heard the grandfather said every firstborn needs to be Neil.
Correct. and a funny story, not funny, but funny story off of this story. My oldest aunt just passed away, and she was the last sibling of the family. There was a family of 12, and she passed away at 93 last week. And one of my cousins, Neil, he was actually named Joseph after his father, my youngest Uncle Joey. Uncle Joey we called my grandfather Pop. He calls Pop. Pop says, oh, you had a boy. It's another Neil. And they were like, no, we named him Joseph. Pop basically said, you're going to be cut out of the family if you don't change it to Neil. And they changed it to Neil.
Wow.
That's how strong of the hold Pop had on the family.
It's a tradition.
Correct.
When I was preparing for this, I'm seeing so many Neil Pellones. I'm like, wow, who's coming to the interview?
Correct. Yeah, it's a crazy story. Like I had one cousin Neil. Actually, I'm going to tell this story.
Yeah, let's do it.
My uncle, like I said, is Tony, but his real name is Ciro. So when his brother comes back from the military, he's now the other Tony Pellone, right? Because his brother's established now. So his son, my cousin Anthony, takes offense to it, like a little bit. Like, Uncle Jerry stole my father's name. And we actually just spoke about this last week, and I was like, Uncle Jerry didn't steal his name. He was 15 years old. Pop took his name and said, listen, you're going to be Tony now because you're going to make money. Think about it. Back then in the 40s, he was the big, at 17 years old, he had the most fights ever in Madison Square Garden. He started at 17, I mean. He had the most headline fights at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
So he was a box office draw in New York City. So there was times he was making $30,000, but that would all go to the family. And the family dynamic was Pop would take his money because he was 16, 17 years old and invest that money.
Yeah, I heard he was divvying it up between the family, buy restaurants in Coney Island.
Correct.
Was it Pallone's Bar and Pizza and then houses and buildings.
Correct. Yeah, you did your research.
I
Yes.
did my research.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
It's a great story.
No, it's a immigrant story. You know,
Yeah.
my grandparents came over. They went to Baltimore, is where they laid their roots. He actually started bootlegging with the Kennedy family. So it was like one day in the middle of the night, they said, either you get the hell out of Baltimore or you're going to jail. So they came up to Greenwich Village.
Nice.
And that's where the New York roots started. And just a quick story on Tough Tony.
I
He was
love
a shoe shine boy.
Okay.
So they used to fight for the corner. Who would have that corner? So they would actually fist fight to say, okay, I got the corner. So legend has it there was a mobster, Tommy Ryan is his name. Tommy Ryan sees him with a black eye. Says, "What happened?" He says, "Well, I had a fight to get the corner." Like, "Hey kid, you want to fight for a living?" And you're 15 years old. You say, "Sure," and that's how he got going.
Wow.
And his manager was like, again, his real name's Thomas Eberly, but he's Tommy Ryan was his name, and that was his manager. And he also grew up with Vincent the Chin Gigante, who was a famous gangster, so mobster. So
Yeah. You ever went to the restaurant in Coney Island, the Pallone Bar and Pizza?
by the time I was a kid, they had one place left. It was called the Hollywood Bar and Grill. And
Okay.
yeah, I used to go to the Hollywood when I was a kid and
Nice.
be in awe of how busy it was. And my grandfather still ran that place with an iron thumb back then. too.
Nice. Very nice. All right, so let's get back to the storyline. You're in Yonkers now. You're working at Gianna's. They tell you about the correction test, which they're always hiring because
Nope.
people
Yeah.
always retiring and quitting and getting fired.
Correct. So doing that, and I still loved my job. I got 4 years left. I still love it.
Let's talk about the first, the academy and all that stuff. If
Well, let me go back into the
let's do
boxing
it.
thing again. So COVID hits. My wife and I are going up to a thing in Boston. Tony's son, again, my Uncle Jerry's son, calls me up and says, "Hey, I got an extra ticket to Cooney Holmes' 40-year anniversary, Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes. It's at the New York, Ring 8 Magazine's New York State Boxing Hall of Fame dinner." So I said to my wife, my cousin's getting old. He's 69, 70 years old. He's inviting me. Let me go make sure I spend time with him. So we come down. I left 6 a.m. to make sure I go do this. It was in Queens. Come down, we do it. As I'm looking at the program, I see that Patsy Giovanelli is a Hall of Famer. I forget who the other person was. And I'm like, your dad beat both of these guys twice. How is he not in the Boxing Hall of Fame? So that became a journey for me. I'm going to get my uncle into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Get him into the Hall of Fame. And I didn't realize at the same time, an amazing boxing historian and writer, Jose Corpus, and I'm going to be speaking about him quite a bit throughout this. Jose was also pushing to get him in. So we got him in the Boxing Hall of Fame. It was 2 years ago, actually, 2 years ago in April. So we get the call. He's going into the Hall of Fame. He goes, the guy, Bob Duffy, passed away. He was the president of Ring 8. Bob calls me up and says, Jose Corpus is going to introduce you guys. And I'm like, who the fuck is Jose Corpus? So I'm like, no, I don't really want anybody introducing us. We can introduce ourselves. We've got a big family. He's like, no, he's an amazing writer. He's this. I didn't realize Jose had so much to do with getting my uncle in. So I meet Jose. Now we started doing T-shirts called, it said Tony Pellone, Greenwich Village. And on the internet, I started this Tough Tony page. And it was all about my uncle. And building, I got like 4,000 followers, which isn't a crazy amount, but it was getting a lot of hits and meeting people. There's a fighter that I represent now, Jaisha Zapata. Her dad reaches out. He's like, we're speaking about the Tough Tony. And at the same time, my world connects with somebody that I work with in corrections. She's like, my daughter's boxing. Do you have any connections? So I reach out to Coach Dave, who's up in Danbury, Connecticut. He has a podcast as well, Coach's Corner. Like I said, it's eerie how many doors just opened up naturally. So Coach Dave was like, hey, I saw you're Tough Tony. I want to talk to you and your cousin about your uncle. So we did a podcast with Jose Corpus. through that, I get this young lady, Michaela, who's starting her boxing journey at 17 years old. So now that opens up. I get it to Coach Dave. Coach Dave is training her. Then I stumble upon this girl, Jaisha Zapata, through her father reaching out about the other stuff. And it's just interesting. So now I'm like, you know what? Let me try to guide some of these other females. Now I'm in the gym watching Jaisha train, and I see this other young lady, Alex Zapier. That's who I want to try to bring down here today.
Okay.
And Alex is an amazing young lady. She's 32, I think, but she's so talented in everything else besides boxing. She's talented in boxing. She's an amazing artist. She draws. She does sketches. She paints boxing shoes for people, pro boxers. So she was exactly who I was looking for, the dichotomy of a female fighter.
Okay.
You know, you could do so much in the outside world, but you're so tough in the ring. So I got Alex involved. So now there's like 9 different girls I put posts of and make videos on and just try to highlight what they're doing in the ring.
On the Pallone page?
Which now
Tony
the
Pellone page?
Tough Tony Pellone page became the Tough Tony Team page.
Ah,
it just
okay.
morphed
You just changed
into
the
that.
name. Okay,
It morphed,
good.
yes.
Nice. It's nice how things just naturally happen like that.
It's all a natural progression, yes.
That's usually how things happen.
And that's why I think it's right, because it's just coming naturally.
Absolutely.
None of this I wanted.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So could we start at corrections? I want
Sure.
to know how the whole process started, because
Sure.
I was a New York State correction officer, 8.5 years.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, I was up in Fishkill.
Okay.
Yeah, at downstate. They just closed it, the
Gotcha,
facility
yeah.
downstate. So it's like, to me, it's a big part of my life, because it's how you were saying earlier. It's like you didn't have any creativity for the first few years doing it. It's like a lifestyle.
Yes, it's a lifestyle.
Because even outside of work, you have to keep that same professionalism. They expect you to.
That not only that, right? You changed the way you sat in restaurants, right? You have your back
against the
against
wall,
the
the
wall. You're
furthest,
always
yeah.
watching.
Watch the door.
You're a paid observer now, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, it does. It changes you.
Everything about you. Yep.
Correct. And what I realized, and I've gotten away from it, but it happens with every new correction officer. All we talk about is what? Work, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's so overwhelming in the beginning. Yeah, I was fortunate. I started in my late 30s. I was probably 39 or 38 when I started. And so I had the fortune of being around the block many a time. So when the inmates talk shit, it doesn't really bother me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a correction officer that I treat you with respect. Because you know what? I have empathy for inmates. You know, if you come in, you can come in as an inmate. You got all your freedoms taken away. It's a rough spot to be, as you know. You have no freedoms. You're out there thinking, is my girl out there cheating? We have so much control over them as far as, CO, can I use the phone? And then you get them their ample time to use the phone. So I always give inmates a little bit more leeway than some other people, because I understand what they're going through.
Do your coworkers look down at you? Because where I was, you're an inmate lover when you treat them a little nice. Even just a little nice, you're a piece of shit. You're an inmate lover.
You can get that, but I also had a lot of fights with inmates too.
Okay.
Because I'm white with glasses, and people look at it like, oh, I can get over on him. And then it's like I said, I treat you with respect until you cross the line. Then when you cross the line, now we're going to go toe to toe. And, so I had a lot of that. So it wasn't an inmate lover. It was almost, I enjoy the way I ICO.
Yeah. Let's talk about the academy. I want to see how different it is from New York State.
The academy was, I came in with a very interesting class. We came in, it was interesting. We had 50 people come in to they were trying to get 40 to 50 people in the class. We go in to get sworn in. Funny story is, I've had my head shaved for quite a while, so I get a call. You got to be at the academy at in 3 hours, whatever it was, 2 hours, and you're starting, you're getting sworn in. So I'm shaving my head. I nicked my ear right here. I don't know if you ever, it didn't stop bleeding. It never stopped bleeding the whole day. So I'm driving up. I'm nervous. I have a suit on. I'm holding my ear on the car ride up. And I pull over and I stop in a gas station. I go, can I use the bathroom? The guy's like, what happened? You got stabbed? I'm like, no. I'm like, I just need the bathroom, bro. And so I get sworn in, like covering blood. And we sworn in with 50 people. We did the psych exam. We did the psych and something else.
The visual and the hearing usually?
All that stuff.
Yeah.
The medical and the psych. We came back with only 18.
Wow, so just from that.
From that, and it was too late for them to hire anybody else. So we came in with they called it like a short bus class. We came in with 18. We graduated 15, and now I think we're down to about 8. And we got a very talented class. Like I'm the president. One of my classmates is a warden. We got a bunch of real good people. Everybody in my class, good people. You know how it is. You're academy people. You're tight with the rest of your life.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Academy wasn't that tough for me. The hard part was doing the schoolwork again.
Oh, yeah. Majority of the day is in class.
Yeah, because your brain, I'm 30, like I said, I'm 38 years old. My brain was shut down from that stuff for, 10, 15 years.
It's a muscle. If you don't use it, it's like, man, now I have to remember stuff.
Correct. Now we're taking state exams and, 100 question tests.
Law week, right? That was the most difficult week.
Correct. I'm learning all that stuff. Quid pro quo and,
all of that. Well, it was military style?
Paramilitary, yes.
Okay.
Paramilitary.
And you went home every day?
Yeah, we're different than you guys up in the state. We go home every day, but long hours. You I think 6 or 7 in the morning and getting out of there 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. But then having the homework projects, that was the
homework.
We would have, like I said, we would have these homework projects, and you're like, I need to pass the test and this and that. So it was stressful to get through it, but we got through it.
Nice. And any good stories from the academy?
Not really in the academy. The beginning phases of being a correction officer, so because getting in that jail, like I always tell people, even as I say now to people, the stress of jail is still there. We just learn to deal with it better because we're not in control of our day. Somebody can hang up, somebody can stab somebody else. So you go in there not knowing what your day is going to look like, right? And then all of a sudden you might have to go home at 2:30 because you're picking your kid up at school and a fight breaks out. Now you got to do paperwork, or you get injured and you got to go to the ER. And so you're not in charge of your day. So there's always a lot of stress. And I'm sure with the state, you guys got forced a lot too, right?
Absolutely. Mandatory overtime is
correct.
It was one of the worst things.
So that stress of it. Yeah.
Especially I lived in Yonkers, so it was an hour drive each way. So I got stuck for another 8 hours, drive back for a nap, and drive right back.
Like you said, you drive back for a nap. And not only that, you can't even take your nap because you're so amped up from your 16-hour day, right?
And you're preparing for your next 8 hours.
Correct. It's not a healthy job.
It's not a healthy job at all.
I don't know if you know this. The average age of a CO is 58 years old, is the average age life.
I went through the statistics before I resigned. It was a lot of alcoholism, divorce, suicide, a lot of bad things.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's
very tough.
It takes
job.
the stress on you. I don't know if you were married when you were a CO. But you think about it, you're married, your wife thinks like, when you're coming home, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm taking the kids everywhere. A lot of times they wind up moving on to somebody else while you're being stuck.
It's horrible.
It's a great job. I was just speaking about it with somebody today. I saw him in a doctor's office, and we were talking about, she's retired about a year. And I was like, you look like everybody that retires looks like they're about 5 years younger because all that stress is off your shoulders. And she just looked amazing. And I was like, you look great. And she's like, yeah, the stress is all gone. And that's the beauty of this.
God bless.
Yeah, but you know what she said? The job isn't the greatest job in the world, but it pays so well, and the benefits are so good.
The benefits. They make it so comfortable for you.
Correct. That you don't want to leave, even though you hate it. You know what? Who wants to go to jail for 8 hours a day?
Nobody. But for a paycheck and benefits,
Correct. That's the curse, the beauty and the curse of it, right?
Absolutely. And with county, it's what, the inmates are there for a year and a half, most?
It's a jail, right? You worked in a prison.
Yeah.
So jail, you could be there. It's
life.
Unique that, yes.
Well, I mean, jail, no. Prison life.
Prison life. But jail, you could be there for a long time because you're there until you get sentenced.
Yeah.
So a lot of people fight their sentencing. Right? So we had some brothers that were in there. I won't mention their names. And they were in the jail for about 8 years, 9 years, because they were federal crimes, and they were fighting it. And by the time they got sentenced to 18 years, they already did eight years of their sentence.
8 years?
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. I thought it was like a year and a half, 2 years max.
No, and what happens, we also have what's called the penitentiary, right? We have a jail and we have a penitentiary. And the penitentiary gets people for, if they get a bullet, they call it 1 year or less.
Okay.
And that's when you do it time in jail. But once you get sentenced, you go up to a prison. And we used to see you downstate.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, a lot of people go, "Oh, you work in county. That's a walk in the park." Sometimes it's a little more difficult because you'll have certain blocks, like everybody's from Yonkers, so they all know each other. Prison's a little different because you might have people from all over, right? So you got a top dog from Manhattan that's going to treat a kid from Yonkers a little differently. You got the gangs in Yonkers still together in the jails, you know what I'm saying? So it's a different thing. And then you might have a guy there that just didn't pay his child support next to a guy that's a serial killer. So it's interesting. There's different dynamics in county jails, you know?
Yeah, I never liked the idea of county because since it is shorter time that they're there, it's like they're not, it's a different mindset if you know you're going to do life or you're going to do 10 years or 20 years and you're in the state because you get accustomed to what you're doing. You get comfortable with your environment.
Correct.
Your cell, you got it comfortable. You have all your needs, your visits, your phone, your packages, all that is set up. You get comfortable. Mm-hmm. But in county, it's like, you might be doing a year.
You might only be doing a year, but you also, you're getting out in a year, right? So you can act like a complete asshole.
That's my point. That's my point.
And you can act like an asshole to the COs.
Yeah.
And you go home in the street and you go, well, I just did a year up in county. You know, the sad part about jail and prisons, though, right? Like, there's some decent inmates you meet, right? And not that you become friendly with them, but like I used to be bit on a block, and 5 days a week I'm on that block. So I'm around these inmates 8 hours a day, sometimes 16 hours a day, 5 days a week. Sometimes I'm around them more than my children.
Absolutely.
So you learn.
They call it rapport. You have a good rapport.
You have a good rapport. And it's funny, you'll see them 5 years later, they'll come back to jail and you go, oh, you've been doing good? No, I just got out from up top. I violated parole. And what's sad is they get stuck in the system, you know?
Absolutely. They go back to the same block, in the streets, go back to the same things because they have nothing else going for them and they come right back.
It's sad. Because
it's very sad.
If I can advocate on a different note, we need to get them before they get into the gangs and stuff like that. Because I think once you get caught up, you're stuck in that cycle. And it's nice every now and then you meet the person that goes, hey, my name's Pallone. So, hey, P. I'll run into people on the street. Yo, P, I'm doing good. I got this job. And it's nice to hear that. Like,
absolutely.
Like I said, I'm that CO that's not, you got locked up. I didn't lock you up, so we're gonna get through our day together. But I didn't lock you up, and I also want to see you do well when you get out.
Yeah. I was the same where some of the coworkers would tell me what these guys did. I'm like, I don't want to know what they did. I don't want to look at them differently.
You're spot on. I was the same way. I don't want to know what you did.
I'm going to treat you all the same.
Correct.
You all deserve what you deserve, and that's it.
Correct. And I'm not giving you more, but I'm giving you everything you're entitled to.
Everything you deserve, you get. You get your toilet paper, you get your visit, you get everything you need, I got you.
Yeah.
Anything above that, I'm sorry.
When I speak to people in the academy now, like I said, I'm the president now. When I speak to people in the academy, I always say, give people what they deserve. Like, because a lot of people, they lie to the inmates, right? And you'll be making a tour and you're walking around. Yo, can I use the phone? Next ring. And now you never let that guy out. Now he's fuming.
Now you're lying to him.
Correct. You're lying to him. Now you go home. I come on. I might be doing my first ring, and I'll probably let you out in the second one. And maybe you throw piss at me. You splash me. And it's like, you should never lie to somebody. If I can't get you out, not on this tour, I'll get you out on the next tour. You know.
Absolutely.
But a lot of COs do that. They lie to people to make their life easier because they know it's going to be a hard time locking them back in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it sucks because they'll trickle into the next shift.
Correct.
Now the other guy got to deal with your drama that you started. Now the inmate's pissed.
Or they talk shit to the inmate, right?
Yeah.
And they leave and they don't tell you they instigated them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can go on for days.
We can have the whole podcast on this.
Really, for real. I never got a correction officer on here, and 128 episodes in, and I haven't got a correction officer in yet because no one wants to open up about the job, especially on camera. I even tell guys, I'll put a mask on you, I'll blur your face, I'll change your voice, let's do it. They're like, no.
No, it's hard to open up. You know what?
It's a lifestyle. They make you think you cannot do this, you cannot do that. You have to live this way outside of the prison.
Correct. I'll tell you one story that I tell people, that one of my good friends, we were bid together on 2 West, and we went to another block together, and then we went to rec together. So we were been together about 6 years, and he's a bodybuilder, and we had a good rapport. And so I go back to make a tour, and this is the step down from the shoe, right? Okay. So it's like when you got out of the shoe, you came to this block. So it was a heavy set kid, and he was a little bit younger. So I'm walking by, he goes. He wasn't eating every day. He was giving his tray to somebody else. So I'm like, bro, why are you giving your trader one cell? So he's like, well, he beats me in basketball every day. Meanwhile, he was a fat kid and the other guy's in shape. So I'm like, he's extorting him. So I'm like, you all right? I said, no, I'm good. So next day I come in, I'm making my tour, and you had to walk around, you know, 2 different tiers, and you had to go through it, through one gate, go, and then come back the next gate. So as I'm coming through, he says, yo, Pete, I'm gonna hang myself. I was like, just give me a second. Let me go hit the phone first, which is kind of callous. But there's a lot of people that bullshit and hey, I'm gonna hang up.
Absolutely, 99% of bullshit.
So I go hit the phone, bang, bang, bang. I hit the number. I was like, let me go back. And I come back and he was hanging. So I got my foot on the cell. I'm holding him up and I'm calling my boy. Hey, I need you. I wind up cutting him down. I sit him down. And I smacked him in the face so hard. Bang! I caught him. He snapped back. He was like crying. P, I can't do this anymore. And we got him the help he needed. So the captain came up. He says, you know, you did a great job. You saved a life. He goes, but I did see you smack him pretty hard. I go, and what was funny is I smacked him. It was like a parental smack. It was like if your kid did that. Like, what the fuck are you thinking about doing this? You know?
Absolutely.
But I always thank God, like, I came back. Like I said, part of me was like, because you hear that like all the time, I'm going to hang up. I'll get you on the next tour. But something said, go back and check on him. And I'm so glad I did.
Absolutely. Yeah, because usually when somebody is going to do something, especially men, they don't talk about it.
They're not going to talk. Yeah, they're not going to speak about it.
The women, I used to work in Bedford too, Bedford Hills.
Yeah.
The female.
Yep.
And they talk all day, every day, and 99%
It's to
of
get
it's
attention.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's to get attention.
Men speak less and they're more about the action.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for him to tell you that, that's good that he did that.
Yeah.
Because he could have definitely waited for you to finish that round, did what he had
Then
to do.
he knew he had a half hour or whatever. You know?
Absolutely. When you say you're going to make a phone call, it was to call medical or something?
No, we hit the phones to guarantee. It proves that we did a tour.
I see. Okay.
It's a security ring. It's called.
Nice. Okay. All right, so let's get back to the boxing. We could do this for hours.
We can have 2 different episodes. Yeah.
All right, so you're you have about 7 female boxers that you're
Correct.
That you're meeting with,
promoting.
and how many years into corrections is this?
This is only a year and a half old. This whole journey.
Wow.
This is a year and a half old, and it's actually something I'm loving doing. I'm going to gyms, watching the girls spar. I'll take out these young girls to lunch. Not like, you know, I like them to almost be like a mentor, but I also want to know why you're fighting as a young girl, right? And what's your family background like? And they're all so unique and different, and they're great stories. You know, like, yeah, I don't want to get into their stories too much, but they're all so unique and different. Like some come from money, some don't come from anything. Some got jumped when they were younger, just started boxing to learn a little bit of self-defense. And like I said, they're great stories. And what's interesting is, like, you know, my name is Neil, but people call me Tony now because of the Tough Tony team. So people are like, hey, Tony. So it's actually funny. Like, I'm Tony after my uncle Tony, who's not really Tony. And my cousin that has the issue with it, that's, you know, you took my father's name. Yeah. I'm actually taking your father's name now. But I don't correct people a lot of time. Like, you know, some of them are Spanish. They're, hey, Tony, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's Neil. You know, it's Neil again.
Yeah.
So with that, I wanted to do something with domestic violence, right? So I got into this promotion. It's the Tough Tony team. It says, fighting for more than victory. And I'm raising money. I'm selling these shirts for $25. 13 of it, it costs $12 to make the shirt. 13 of it goes to my sister's place. It's a shelter that, again, boxing world, very strange. I have a good friend of mine. He's a New York State Supreme Court justice. His name's Charlie Wood. Charlie's a huge boxing fan. Once he saw that I was involved in boxing, we started going, we go to Larry Holmes's golf outing every year. And we meet a lot of boxers and all that. So when I told him about this idea, he told me about my sister's place. My wife is an amazing advocate. She does a thing called the Bride's March every year. And there's about hundreds of women that wear wedding dresses, and they march from Washington Heights, I believe, and they go, I'm not sure the route, Washington Heights into the Bronx or vice versa. And they do a long march, and they chant, you know, about domestic violence.
Wow.
Gladys Ricard, I hope I got her name right, Maria. Gladys Ricard. She was getting married. You know the movie Kill Bill?
Absolutely.
Very similar to that. On her wedding day, her ex came in and shot her dead. So it was September, again, Maria, I hope I get this right, September 26th, I believe, was the day. They do the Bride's March every year to honor Gladys and keep that domestic violence message out there. And it's interesting that I'm doing this today because tomorrow is actually, I'm going to look at my phone so I don't botch this up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is a day of elimination of violence against women. And November 25th is a day against gender-based violence since 1981. This date was selected to honor the Maribel sisters, 3 political activists from the Dominican Republic who were brutally murdered in 1960 by order of the country's ruler. So,
who's the ruler? Trujillo?
Yes,
Rafael
Trujillo.
Yeah.
Yes, and my wife's Dominican. So
there you go.
This doing for domestic violence just comes natural for me, and my sister's place is an amazing organization. So already I'm up to around 2,500, and what's nice about it is
2,500 what?
Dollars to donate.
Nice.
And my goal is to get it hopefully to $3,000 and maybe even more, maybe to $4,000. But what's been nice is there's a couple of female boxers like Shelly Vincent, she was a world champion. She's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. There's an amazing woman, Maureen Shea. You ever see the movie $1 Million Baby?
Yes.
She trained Hilary Swank, and her nickname is the real $1 Million Baby.
Oh,
and
wow.
She was a world champion, and she's an amazing advocate for women's boxing. If you go on my page, you'll see she has a post about it and how she's fighting domestic violence. Shelly Vincent is not afraid to mention that she was domestic violence survivor as well. So she has a post with it. There's Alicia Napoleon, who was a world champion. She's got a T-shirt. She owes me a picture, Alicia, and a post. But she's a very busy woman. But they're all doing great things. Not only were they trailblazers, they're doing great things for the sport of boxing. And then recently, my uncle got inducted last month into the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame.
Nice.
And I was with one of my young ladies. She was there for another reason, but we actually met each other there that night. Her name's Lila, and Lila was like, got to introduce her to, we got to meet for the first time. We only knew each other through the internet. We got to meet Shadesha Green, who's an amazing boxer now, and she's a middleweight champion of the world right now. She was one of the attendees, and she was leaving, so I chased down Shadesha, introduced her to Lila. She's got a T-shirt. She posed with the T-shirt. She put a nice post up as well. So it's a great cause, domestic violence, and we just need to keep raising awareness. And people ask, why don't people discuss it more? And I got into this in the last podcast I did about, I think people are shamed into, like, first off, you might love your husband that abused you, right? He's the father of your kids still, so you don't want to go out talking about it, speaking about it. Plus, you leave your sometimes it's the breadwinner, and now you're in a shelter, and that's why I want to buy gift cards for the women in the shelters, and that's where I'm raising the money for.
Yeah, it's tough because you also want to protect the kids, stay together for the kids.
Correct, and some people, that's all they know. And you know what? It's not only domestic violence, like, some of it comes from parents, too, is it domestic violence. Parental abuse, or good friend of mine is suffering from ALS, and really suffering from ALS. I'm wearing this for him. You can speak about that all day long. To say, oh, my good friend's a domestic violence of who? And then, like I said, you're talking about somebody's personal business too much. But he bought a T-shirt, and he's laid up, and he can't move anything but one foot. But he had told me, like, my mom was beaten by one of her boyfriends later on, so that's why I want to support your cause. And it's just it's beautiful how many people do have backgrounds of domestic violence that want to share on it.
Absolutely. So how did it all come about? You said you started meeting female boxers, about 7 of them at the time, and then how did this combine? What are some of the boxers boxing because they want to defend themselves? Is that
Yes,
how it all started?
That's a lot of it.
I
yes.
figured
and
that's
a
what
lot
it
of it.
was.
And I don't want to get into people's personal business.
Of course. We don't have to get specific.
Yeah, some
but
people open up more. Some people hint to it.
Absolutely.
Some people, like you said, self-defense. I'm going to learn to box. And then you're like, wow, I love this. And I also want to be able to keep speaking on this as far as get people in get some of these women, even young men, get in the gym and learn how to defend yourself and find the passion. There's a beautiful family in the gyms. It's a very unique thing that I've really in awe of. Give a shout out to Champs Boxing in New Rochelle as well. It's 2 Champs. There's one up in Danbury. There's one in New Rochelle. Ryan O'Leary runs a gym in New Rochelle called Champs Boxing. There's a lot of females there. And it's great to watch them because Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays they spar. And it's hard because not a lot of women fighters. So you're sparring a lot of times the same people, or somebody will come from Albany to come down to spar. But what's beautiful is there's a sorority and a sisterhood. When they're done sparring, every night they're done sparring, they take a picture. And they're always goofing around, who's hitting the other one in the head, and they're making fun of each other. And then you also realize how young they are. Some of them are 18, 17 years old. They're kids. You know?
Yeah, women don't want to mess their face up.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, correct.
Do they wear guards?
At the amateur level, you wear headgear. And when you turn pro, you don't use the headgear anymore. But when you spar, you always use headgear.
Nice. So what's next with this group?
What's next with this group is hopefully 1 or 2 of them are going to go pro. Like Jasha's turning pro in 2026. We haven't made a commitment with each other yet. If she chooses me, I'm open to it. If she goes a different route, I'm going to do whatever I can to help her get to the. I look at myself, like I said, as a manager / advisor. Mm-hmm. Like I also want some of these young kids to. Boxing's not everything. You have to keep in school, have a job, do something, because after you're done fighting, what's the next step? And sometimes when you're in that ring and you're just learning boxing, you're so committed on it that you don't focus on the next phase of it.
Absolutely. What exactly do you do for these girls?
I promote on social media is what I do. And
is it promoting their next fight, or what is it?
It's promoting their next fight, showing reels of them and their talent level. And Jake Paul actually recently has an MVP team, Most Valuable Promotions, and he's done a lot for female boxing.
Absolutely.
And I sent it to all the girls because Jake Paul has a video out that says, in this day and age, you have to self-promote yourself. The day of having promoters is not necessary anymore. You need to self-promote yourself. And a lot of these girls, especially the young ones, are Instagram shy. If you look at young people's Instagrams, like they have 4 or 5 posts. That's all they have. They'll do a lot on stories, which are 24 hours and they're done, right?
Yep.
But I'll put a post of somebody up that's reaching 3,000, 4,000 people that are looking at you now. And what's interesting is when they turn pro, you have to sell seats, male or female, right? So a promoter says, Francisco's a good fighter. I'll give you, but you have to bring 40 people to the fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have 40 friends that are willing to spend $80 to $100, right? They might do it once, or they're doing it every time. But if you have a social media following of 4, 5, 6, 10,000, you're more apt to get it. And as a promoter that's doing these fights, he goes, wait, she's got a following of 10,000 people. She's going to bring people to the seats, right?
Absolutely.
And that way that you start making more money. So that's my end game with that. And also getting some people like Jasha, her dream promoter is this guy, Ed Hearns. He's out of Europe. He promotes Katie Taylor.
That's the one that boxes for MVP, right?
Yes. She's the one that beat
Irish
the
girl?
fighter. Yes. They fought the trilogy, her and Amanda Serrano.
Yes.
And they put female boxing on the map. It's been around, but they put it on the map.
Yeah.
And Cindy Serrano, who I met at last year's Boxing Hall of Fame, New York's Boxing Hall of Fame, she was getting inducted, and her speech was amazing. She talked about Cindy got inducted, so she gave a shout out to Amanda, saying about because the next fight was coming up, the last fight was coming up, but she said, "Look how far we've come." She goes, "I remember when I first started fighting, we had to sell 40 tickets, and I might be off with the number, 40 seats, and we didn't even know 40 people. So how are we getting people?" And she was getting paid $50 per round.
Wow.
So let's say it was a 10-round fight. You get paid $500.
And that's pro?
That was pro.
Wow.
Back then. So that's what people don't understand, how far this game has come, and it's still not really there.
It's not.
Like if you Google some people's salaries, like one of my favorite female fighters is Francesca Hennessy. You Google her salary, some fight she's making $12,000. Wow. She's a star, right? So what are the non-stars making, right? And some fights you have to actually pay to be in there. So you need somebody like, I've helped some people along where I'm giving you $750 to go, and somebody else is giving you, and we're paying $2,000 for you to get paid to fight.
Yeah, it's kind of like the WNBA.
Correct.
It's all about the attention. How much views can we get?
How much money are you going to bring in for us?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. If people aren't watching, if the seats aren't full, we can't pay you much.
So that's the tough part, Lord. Some of these young ladies, they don't want to even like. You ask them to collaborate and put stuff out there. So I'm trying to help you grow. So help me help you.
Help me help you. Absolutely.
Correct. So collaborate on the thing. And what I tell a lot of them is collaborate for a day or two, then you can uncollab. Right?
They shouldn't uncollab.
They don't get it, but it's okay. Because, again, you got to remember who you're dealing with. You're dealing with 18, 19-year-old kids that, and some people may look at me like I'm corny. And I may be corny for an old man, but I'm getting you 4,000 views on it, where when I met you, you had 800 followers. Now you have 3,800 followers. And if you paid attention to what I'm saying, you'd probably have 10,000 followers.
100%.
So that's what's the brainstorming in that.
Absolutely. What are your views on Mike Tyson?
I love Mike Tyson.
Me too.
I love Mike Tyson. I'm not crazy about his thing with the rape and going away with that, obviously. So I don't want that to come across, especially when promoting all this. I don't want that to come across.
I still think he's innocent.
I think he has a lot of demons.
Absolutely.
Mike's a little bit older than I am, and when he was coming up, he was probably 21. I'm 18, right? And he's still battling his demons.
Absolutely.
But I love his honesty. I adore Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson I relate a lot to Mike Tyson, but I've gotten past a lot of my demons. They're still there, but I've conquered most of them. But there was a time in my life I was just like Mike Tyson. No, it's the truth. You laugh, but it's the truth. It's like that inner suffering. There's nothing worse than suffering inside.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's good. I read his book. I saw his one-man show that he does. He's really good.
Great segue for me, right? One-man show. Jose Corpus and I were speaking about writing something about my uncle.
Oh, yeah, you should.
Jose Corpus, his story is he met my uncle when he was 18 years old. And my uncle was in his 60s at the time. My uncle trained him for like a year. He went on to become a boxing writer, a boxing historian, an amazing writer too. And he could sit in this chair and he'll talk to you about fights from 1920, 1908, what happened in DR, what happened in Mexico. He's a boxing historian. He's the Burt Sugar of nowadays, right?
Wow.
As we're writing the story, it hit me. I said, your story is Bronx Tale, but with my uncle, because that year you spent with my uncle, year and a half, changed your whole trajectory of your life. So as we started speaking about it and shaping it, he vomited it out in 3 days. And we have a script. It's an amazing script. We're going to start shopping it around now. Recently, we went to see Chaz Palminteri's Bronx Tale. But I don't know if you know this.
I saw it twice.
The one-man show.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize Bronx Tale started as a one-man show and then grew into a Bronx Tale.
And he is Cologito.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And most people mix him up as, how is Sonny doing that? No, he's talking about Sonny. The Sonny character, basically, is my uncle. He met my uncle. Jose met my uncle when his father just died. So he was the name of the play is Split Decisions. You could take the easy left or the hard right.
Oh, that's nice.
And he could have went the easy left, which was a gang affiliation. The gangs were trying to get him in. He met my uncle, and then met my other uncle, my Uncle Tony, who was back from the war and all that stuff. And
the real Tony.
The real Tony. And the real Tony's like an archangel in this play, because he basically said to him, these people use you. They beat you. You get beat up, they use you. And he also, what was the line? That's a great line. When he told the fighter, Tony, I want to be a boxer. He said, but are you ready to be an ex-boxer? Meaning like, look at me, I'm in a run-down apartment. I have a drinking problem. My head hurts. Are you ready to be an ex-boxer? So we put together this one-man show. Jose also wrote, if you don't mind me talking about
I love it. I love it.
Jose, which I'm talking about my artistic talent now. Like next week, Sunday, actually, I'm going to be directing a short film.
Nice.
And speak about like how things are just flowing. Jose wrote an amazing story called Marcel's Promise. And did you ever see The Raging Bull?
Yes.
Okay. Remember, Jake beats Marcel Sedan for his middleweight championship. Marcel was flying back to America and his plane crashed and he died. But Jose wrote a book about Panama Brown. He was a black Panamanian that was also a homosexual, very outgoing homosexual. Was very famous in France with the homosexual community, which were Pierre Cardin, Yves Saint Laurent, all the big fashion people. He had a great lifestyle in France. The Nazi Germany was taken over. Black and gay don't really jive with Nazi Germany. So he basically left all his money behind in France and came back to America. He's a broken down boxer in his, whatever, maybe 50s, maybe 60s. Marcel felt bad for Panama. You know, he had a lot of respect for him and heard what was happening back in America. Comes over on his flight back, basically sent a letter. This is Jose's story, and it's based on a true story. Sent a letter with a writer to tell him, hey, listen, Panama, we got money together. We're going to take you back with me to France. And when we go back to France, you're going to run a gym, and we're putting you back on your feet. Unfortunately, the plane goes down. So we're filming this short story called Marcel's Promise on Sunday. And Junior Jones, who was a lightweight champion himself, is playing Panama.
Amazing.
So we got some investment from the WBC as well in that.
Get out of here. That's awesome.
Correct. And Jose's they're also trying to make his book on Panama Brown into a full story. And hopefully I'm saying this right, Panama Brown, instead of Panama. Like I got the right name. It's Panama's his name. So. Okay. And they're trying to make that into a full screen, like a legit movie.
Nice.
And it's getting some interest. So that's all Jose, because I can't take any credit for that. Like the play I've helped Jose shape, because, like I said, I was like, Jose, this is your story, man. Just get it out. This is all about you. And what's great is, like he said, he goes, Neil, I'm not even trying to write it. It's just coming out. So, and now I'm going back to like, I directed some off-Broadway shows, and I'm gonna have a man filming and direct, and I'm really amped for a lot of this.
Man, I'm excited too. That sounds great.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. And my term for president was up December, and I'm not running anymore. I'm just gonna go.
The union?
The union.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go back in, and I want to be just a correction officer.
Okay.
Put my uniform on and focus on this other stuff out here. And once I made that decision not to be president anymore, the weight of the world is off my back. And the reason I did that, this stuff got me involved. Like, I'm an empty nest parent now, right? My daughter's in school. She's in college. This became something that I can go to the gym on Tuesday. I go to the gym on Thursday. Hey, you know what? I didn't get hired for overtime. I'm going to shoot up to Danbury and watch this kid spar. And it's just given me a lot of fun and a desire.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They told me in the academy, which I'm assuming they told you guys too, get a hobby. Right?
And a lot of us don't, but it's the truth. Yeah,
drinking is a lot of CEOs' hobbies.
Correct. Get a hobby outside of this. And you know what? 10 years of being on the executive board, being vice president and president, it was all about my membership. And nothing wrong with that. I believe I did a hell of a job. But now I don't want to keep all my energy into that. Like, I'm 59 now. I could be dead tomorrow. I'm 1 year past the average age, right? So I want to be healthy, and I want less stress, and I want to do stuff that makes me happy.
Absolutely. So, do you have to bid for a post now, or how does it work if you're going back?
I'm bid. I got to see if I'm going to go, but I'm bid right now on midnights.
Oh, that's not a good shift.
And I don't think it's going to work, so I may change. I got to go back for 3 months because it's in the middle of a bid session.
Okay.
But I'll check it out and see.
Yeah.
I also, I'll leave that other part out.
Yeah, that's. I did that for a few years. I hated it.
It's not healthy
in the beginning. As a rookie, that's what they give you, the trash.
See, I'm trying to see, like, if I can make it work sleep-wise, it gives me the whole day to run around and do other things. So that's where I'm trying to balance. If not, I'll go back to 7 to 3.
7 to 3 is good.
Yeah.
7 to 3 is very good. If you had advice to give your younger self, what would it be?
Stay in school. Stay in school and don't chase the money because it's short money. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more money out there. And I see it now. Like some kids, they start making money and you're disinterested in going to school, back to school. Mm-hmm. But also, you know what? Chase your dreams. Like there's nothing that, I think if you told younger Neil at 17, 18 that you could be an attorney, I would say, get the hell out of here. You know, there's no shot at it. I'm not smart enough because you know what? School's a weird thing because we're too young to handle it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. School's about memorizing, right?
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
And like my daughter, my 21-year-old, she kicks ass in school. She's doing well, but she memorizes well. And
so she's smart. That's what they call smart in school.
But did you learn anything from her? You know?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. What was she in school for?
She's going to be a teacher.
Oh, good.
And she's always been great with young kids. And then I have an amazing son. He works for Indeed. He's doing a great job. He lives down in South Carolina. My oldest daughter is a doctor. She's an
amazing
OBGYN.
Amazing.
And when I taught her, and she won't, I said, school should teach you how to learn, not what to learn. Mm. And I think that's an important part because I think a lot of kids nowadays get brainwashed. These teachers want to teach whatever they force their agenda, political agenda down people's throats.
Absolutely.
And I want you to question everything. That's what I would tell people too. Question everything.
Fact check everything.
Correct. Fact check and question.
Yeah.
Because you know what's important to me? Like social media. I follow all different sides on social media. And like Mom Donnie met with Trump the other day.
Yeah.
My Republican friends saw it one way. My Democrat friends saw it another way. But somewhere in the middle is the truth. It's perspective, yes. But you know what? Politics have become like sports teams. You're a Met fan, you're a Yankee fan. Like Donald Trump fans, I don't think Donald Trump can't do anything wrong. The other side, he can't do anything right. And it's just, it's tiring. Like, I vote both ways. I look at somebody and go, you know what? I listen to your platform. I listen to your policies. I'm going to vote for what I believe in. I'm not a team player one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah, what's right and the truth is always in the middle.
Correct.
Yeah, I like that. We're nearing the end of the podcast. If you could please let the people know where they can find you.
Sure.
Anything you have coming up that you want them to tune into, and any last words.
Sure. The Tough Tony Team is on Instagram, just the way it says, Tough Tony Team. It's a grassroots project, so if you're interested in buying a shirt, even just donating, reach out through my DMs, and you can message me in there, tell me a size, and I'll get you the shirt. Interesting thing, I drive around the county delivering shirts because I'm trying to keep costs down and not pay for shipping because everything I'm raising is going to them. Even, like I said, grassroots, if you want to send me a check for $5, Venmo, $5, $10. At the end of this, in December or January, I am going to announce how much I raised and give them. It's going to probably cost me more than... Cause I send people shirts that, certain people of stature, I'll give you a shirt and not charge you. Then I'm shipping some people shirts that cost me $10 in shipping. So so that's $3 I raised on the shirt. And also, Jaisha Zapata is coming up. She's going to fight she's fighting for her 11th national championship in December. So if you want to follow along on that and her journey, I'll be tracking that. And then we'll see her decision in January, how she's turning pro, and hopefully I sign her, and we go that route. But sooner or later, like I said, hopefully you'll welcome Jaisha on this podcast.
Absolutely.
She's an amazing fighter. Her father's an amazing trainer, and I want nothing but the best for her. And she's my top dog. There's another girl, Maribel. She's fighting in the nationals as well. And follow along with their journey. And I got this young lady, Lila, that's only 18 years old, but one of the most passionate fighters I've ever seen, just wants to be driven. They're all driven. And follow along with the team and get involved in women's boxing. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds like fun. I have up to 6 mics, so we could have a whole big conversation.
I would love that because you know what? There's a couple of different girls. They have the different stories, and it's not, the Tough Tony team to me is trying to get them a platform. Right?
Absolutely.
I don't want it to be about me. I want them. I want to be a conduit for them.
Absolutely.
To get them the attention they need. So that's what my job is in this.
That's noble work, my man.
Thank you.
Very good. It was nice meeting you. Thanks for the great conversation.
No, absolutely. It made me feel comfortable and casual. We can go on for hours.
I know, just on corrections.
Absolutely.
And thank you, everybody that watched. Peace and love.